Welcome back. National Treasury says hundreds of ghost employees on the government's payroll have already been identified with salaries frozen in some provinces. This has been revealed during a meeting of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration today, which included members of the Auditor General's Office and department officials. Now, about a third of all spending in the country goes towards the bloated public sector wage bill.
Another provincial department of health that concluded a ghost worker initiative was the Gauteng department. I think it'll still be worth us trying to reach out to them, although their project finalized and they had identified and frozen salaries for 188 employees. In terms of next steps, we are seeking to finalize the identification of ghost workers using Treasury, Department of Home Affairs and SARS data sources by the medium-term budget policy statement. Once ghost workers have been identified, we will make a two-month window period to allow them to verify themselves and provide explanations if they can. The objective here is to verify whether these officials are actual ghost workers or if the inconsistencies are a result of administrative errors.
Now, the Portfolio Committee on Public Service and Administration has expressed frustration over what it calls weak and incomplete presentations on ghost employees. Committee chairperson Jan de Villiers joins us for more. Jan, we know that ghost employees has been for a long time cited as a drain on the public purse. How extensive is this challenge of ghost employees, and do we have a clearer picture now, at least, of just how much it's costing the state?
Good evening to yourself and to your listeners. Yes, that's an excellent question. I think the more we grapple with the issue of ghost workers in the state, the more the question is being asked, but how serious is the issue really? And I think we're not in a position yet to answer that question, but we are getting into a position to answer that question. And I think that's really what we heard from National Treasury today. We heard firstly that they have a data-driven approach and that they are cooperating with the Department of Public Service and Administration and also with SARS and the Department of Home Affairs, who are all the different departments who you need to work together with tax number identifications, bank identifications, identity identifications, so that we can get to, firstly, understanding the problem, but secondly, very much holding people accountable for the problem. Because the issue around ghost employees is an issue of corruption. It is an issue of syndicated crime within the state, and it is a drain on the fiscus. It only helps to bloat the government wage bill and thereby diverts funds that is meant for service delivery, that is meant to empower communities, into the pockets of criminals.
And I think it's shocking that, the committee itself says it's identified some of those ghost employees. They've, of course, frozen some of those salaries in the various provinces, but clearly not enough has been done. You've even called the presentation weak and incomplete.
Yes, I think the frustration that was felt by the committee is actually a frustration that is felt by all South Africans. We have become, we almost have corruption fatigue. South Africans are tired of just finding out about corruption. The committee wants to see action. They want to see ghost employees not just identified and eliminated, but the people behind the ghost employees fully investigated and prosecuted and sent to jail.
And I would like to know, of course, in regards to the Department of Public Service and Administration, they are, of course, looking to outline a policy framework. You've spoken about this effort to eliminate those ghost employees. How will this framework address those systemic weaknesses that will, of course, continue to allow such irregular practices to flourish?
Well, I think the important part of this whole process is to set a new standard, to create a new framework, and to put the right regulations and practices and standard operating procedures into place so that once you've eliminated ghost employees and identified them, that you in future stop this practice from happening. We know that at the moment, using the PERSOL system, so the HR system and the payment system of the state, you need 3 people to collude to create ghost workers on the system. So just as a practical example, that's where you should zone in on right at the beginning. We hope to see from the DPSA that they will, obviously in cooperation with Department of Home Affairs and National Treasury, develop the necessary systems that once a person is loaded onto the system, onto the payroll system, that their identity is verified and that basic checks are done, that they are not receiving a salary somewhere else, that they're not doing business with the state, that their tax affairs are in order, that they don't have a criminal record. These are all of the things which we can achieve if we set the right framework, if we set the right practices in place to create a system where this practice can be identified and eliminated at the start.
Well, that's the committee chairperson, Jan de Villiers, joining us for that conversation, a problem that has been stemming across provinces, municipalities, ghost employees, a real problem there.